glitches exist. We are specifically going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's and how over the years it has had a spread of glitches from Five Nights at Freddy's 1 to Security Breach, and closed captions are given for you to use if needed. We are going to start at the first game. The first instance of a glitch most people remember was what we are going to call jump scare save. This either happens when the power goes off.
Whoa, that's new! Power cut off Foxy's little entrance there.
Trying to obtain this glitch is very difficult because of the complexity of it. It usually happens by accident and is based on luck whether you get it or not. And trying to get this glitch is presumably unattainable due to previous updates unless you can rewind to a previous one. Similarly, when your camera is active just before the power goes off, it stays on for some reason. As you expect, you can only interact with a monitor and the camera position remains in the office. You can't turn the monitor off and you are just permanently stuck inside of it, slowly looking upon your death by Freddy. This glitch, it looks like it was just for jokes and it of course is patched. Furthermore, if you are having a very hard time on Five Nights at Freddy's and want to beat the game very easily, you can close both doors without using power, making both doors invisible. However, you can only do this on the video game consoles, which were the PlayStation 4, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. It is also possible to do it on the mobile also.
So basically what you want to do is when the night starts, you hit X for PlayStation, you hit A for Xbox, and I think it's also X for Nintendo as well. So basically what you want to do is hit X, A, or X, and then hit options right after that. It'll trick the game into thinking that the door is closed when it's really not. The button is green, signifying that the door is closed. I can do it on the left and on the right. It works like that. I don't drain any power, as you guys can tell. No power is being ticked away, but I'll drain power if I go on the cameras like so.
As you may think, this counters every animatronic possible. Most people would consider using this on the 420 mode, which means you can beat the entire game without dying once guaranteed. This bug has mostly been unnoticed by most players because these were on the consoles during this time, and this was in 2022, which was very recent. Now, let's head to Five Nights at Freddy's 2, where glitches become even more bizarre. The common glitch that most people would run into is where your mask is on while your monitor is active. It is incredibly fundamental to do. You have to open the monitor, but before you do, in a split second, move your mouse to your mask quickly. Although very strange, seeing this happen is still humorous because it looks peculiar. Speaking of which, on some occasions, when not wearing your mask, you can see Toy Bonnie and other animatronics doing the animation where you are supposed to have your mask on. The reaction of the person who found this glitch gives a great example of how creepy it is.
No! Not like that! What the heck just happened? Oh my god! Dude, guys, are you seeing this? What the heck? That is creepy as what the... Guys, help me?
As mentioned before, this works with other animatronics such as Withered Bonnie and Golden Freddy. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is where things get more interesting. A minor bug that some players have encountered is that the phantom animatronics or hallucinations don't jump at you. This is more prominent in Phantom Foxy where he stands still, not causing any jump scare. This happens a lot more than you think it does. Some players might think that this is not a bug in the first place, but I do assure you that this is a glitch. And this is a bug that I already referred to, which is jump scare save. Springtrap during the animation gets abruptly cut off and then 6 AM pops up as Five Nights at Freddy's 1. You still need the same requirements and is of course rare to get. The weirdest glitch and possibly creepiest glitch is on the consoles, where you can basically skip the night by pausing the game during the jump scares continuously. Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which is considered one of the scariest games in the franchise because of how they are portrayed in their designs, as well have some notable glitches. In this game, there are 2 doors on the left side and right side of your room, while a bed behind you. Bonnie comes from your left and Chica comes from your right. You need to close the doors on them if you hear them breathing. If you don't hear them, you have to flash to scare them off. The bed behind you holds Freddy and you need to flash the so-called Freddles, so that they don't transform into Freddy. The same glitch I mentioned previously, called Jumpscare Save, also has an appearance that saves your life. This happens in all animatronics, which includes Fredbear, who comes in Night 5. However, the so-called Nightmare is the final animatronic in the game. Jumpscare Save doesn't work on him, sadly. A game-breaking one that ruins some players' experiences, which either Blush Trap or Nightmare Balloon Boy on this minigame doesn't work. The goal of this minigame is to put the plushies on the X while flashing your light at them. This skips 2 hours in the night and is really helpful for players to progress. And as you see, the plushies are on it and nothing happens. The next game I'm going to mention is Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. It's a story-driven game with a variety of choices you can pick, and it is very different from the previous games. The only glitch that I could find that is noticeable is where the scooper doesn't kill you, but you are rather stuck inside the room and can't do anything. Of course, there are other glitches such as visible bugs, and the other ones are just tampering with game files, which isn't really a glitch per se. The biggest reason why there aren't many glitches is because the game is a straightforward experience that is planned rather than just a regular Five Nights at Freddy's routine like in any other games. Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator, Five Nights at Freddy's AR, and Ultimate Custom Night have the same glitches. Most of them are either visual bugs, cheats, or any other type of external software that helps people. There is nothing really interesting about these type of games that gives them unique glitches. This explains how Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, has had a lot more experience with these type of games. But we move on to Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, a virtual reality system game and the first game to introduce it. It is without a doubt the scariest game in the franchise.
Ah, whoa! Holy fucking no! Holy shit! That's a big no! You there? Ah! What the fuck? Golden! Fucking hell!
Help Wanted introduced all Five Nights at Freddy's games except the previous games I mentioned. Transitioning from an old engine to a VR setting could cause some concerns. With VR, most players realized that you could go through the map to see where the animatronics are. This caused a lot of speculation to find any secrets in the maps, or to find any types of exploits and Easter eggs they could find. The major problem that this game had was with glitches with the non-VR version. The reason for this is because the game is made for VR, so taking it away without preparation causes some problems. The most glitchiest and broken game throughout the entire franchise is Security Breach. The number of glitches is so impossible that someone has made a 48-minute video explaining the glitches and bugs in Security Breach. Some of them are minimal and some change and break the game. Going through all of them within this video will extend it very long, so I will do the most broken glitches, and a heads up, all these glitches have hopefully been patched already, considering the game has been out for almost 2 years. All the YouTubers who have played the game have already found so many glitches. In additional playthroughs, many other people have different glitch experiences when playing the game. So, let's start with the many glitches that people have encountered. Monty, one of the animatronics, is very weird because he has more glitches than the other animatronics, such as spawning an army of them or Jumpscare Save, which also occurs. But just because he has the most doesn't mean he is the goofiest. Moon, sometimes called Moondrop, gets stuck for no reason, most occasionally on items blocking his way. These cleaning robots have 10-frame animations unless they have lag, which, to be honest, is different because many other people have seen this. Using Freddy, you can open particular doors to look outside the map and see various things.
Oh, what? What? Whoa! Bug! I found one! What the hell? So if you bring Freddy close to a door that's level 10, it'll open for him.
This is only the very surface of the glitches in Security Breach. The game was bad, but of course, is a lot better than it was before. However, there are still glitches to consider even after 2 years have passed. I'm not saying the game is bad in any way, and the developers have put a lot of time into designing the game, and at least give them props for that. But overall, the glitches from every Five Nights at Freddy's game are very diverse. Help Wanted 2 is coming out soon, so there are sure to possibly be glitches, but no one knows. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and like the video. Thanks.